and you don't know what to do. Ah, okay. So it says it's given a scenario here. This young lady, she says she can identify with this. She would glare at her partner, trying to send him a message that she was really annoyed and hurt. She hoped he would get the message. At times, she would withdraw into pouting, hoping to punish him for showing an interest in someone else, but it didn't work. He just felt confused. At other times, Susan would ask him if she still found her attractive. Was he getting bored with her? Was she his type? At first, he would reassure her, but then, with repeated demands from her for more reassurance, he began to wonder why she felt so insecure. Maybe she wasn't the right one for him. And then it says when things got got more difficult for Susan, she would yell at him, "Why don't you go home with her? It's obvious you okay." And it
So
said
that's
these kind of jealous conflicts can end a relationship.
so that's more so romantic jealousy.
Yes, yeah,
Now, the Bible, the Bible says it this way, that jealousy is the rage of a man.
it is.
It is a rage of a man. And so jealousy is a feeling. It incites rage and conflict. There's another scripture in the Song of Solomon 8:6 that says jealousy is as cruel as the grave.
Indeed.
It's as cruel as the grave. And I studied ago that word cruel in that scripture, it means mercilessly deliberate and remorselessly insensitive to the pain and anger. Is mercilessly deliberate. It shows no mercy, and it is remorselessly insensitive to the pain and anguish of others. People who are jealous don't really care what pain that they're causing you, because their jealousy is geared toward resolving and absolving their own pain. So they're not focused on the frustration that they're causing you. They're only concerned with whatever it is that you're doing, or stopping whatever it is that you're doing, or altering whatever it is that you're doing, so that they don't feel the way that they feel any longer. But the crazy thing about that is that, can someone else really determine how you feel?
And see that's another question. Let me tell you real quick what I think about jealousy. It's simple in one sentence. It's selfishness. Individual being selfish. Described it. You're more concerned about your feeling, how you feel, not what you are putting on someone else. You're the description here. The young lady, she was concerned about how um, watching him talk to other people made her feel.
Wow.
He could be networking.
Wow.
I don't know exactly what he was doing, but I'm just saying and then you can't automatically think that somebody is trying to do something to you.
Yes.
Stop being selfish and thinking that it's all about you.
Jealousy is really an immature thing of jealousy. I felt it, you felt it, we all have felt the feeling. The question is, what do you do with that feeling? How do you respond to that feeling? Because all jealousy is it's the fear of losing something that you feel belongs to you, to someone else. And you can connect that to a romantic interest, but it can be a job, it can be anything, it can be. And so what do you do with that feeling when the threat of losing something that you feel is yours surfaces? What do you do with that feeling? Ultimately, what we have to understand is that we can't control anybody else's life. I can't control that. We can't control anybody else's life. I can't I can't control what anybody else says, does. You see people or romantic relationships say to their counterpart, "What you looking at? Why are you looking at him?" You know, why are you looking over? Can you really control where their eyeballs?
No, you cannot.
You can't.
And all of this may be easier said than done. We're just trying to help you to get beyond,
Yeah.
this jealousy thing that many have going on. And yeah, it's not only limited, of course, to romantic relationships. As we talked about, jealous, or you really have to deal with those insecurities, because
Right.
that's really what it boils down to. There's some insecurities that are there that you obviously haven't gotten over.
Right. Right.
And there, of course, are ways to deal with it. Brandy says here, men get tired of that behavior real quick and wonder if you know better than them that what your true worth is. If you're intimidated by every woman who crosses my path, then maybe it's because you know you truly are not all that. Whoa, that's it right there. There goes that wraps up.
Well, that goes back to self-confidence and value of self, and you and to know that you're valued, then you don't have to go running behind someone else, making sure that they're not,
Right.
And so I think that's what she's saying, and that's absolutely true.
It is.
Because at the end of the day, you can't stop anybody from doing what they want to do. See, in my mind, the fact that you may want to do something, that's what you really got to deal with.
Exactly.
And so whether I can't stop you from doing it, because sooner or later I got to go to work. Sooner or later, I'm not going to follow you. You're not going to follow me. Eventually, you have whatever is in your heart to do. And so at some point, I have to deal with that feeling. Now I'm going to say this. I have to deal with that feeling, even if you do what's in your heart to do.
True.
Even if you perpetuate any kind of unfaithful behavior, I still have to deal with whatever is in my heart that I'm struggling with. And so you have to resist and reject the feeling of jealousy because of what it does to you.
Yes.
Because it'll drive you crazy if you allow it to.
It will, or it'll drive you, unfortunately, to do something crazy like this man did on yesterday.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. it can definitely get out of hand and get to a point where you don't even recognize your own self.
Yeah.
So it's not not a matter of what somebody is doing to you. You see some comments on here?
Well, I was going to
go ahead.
I was going to say something as it relates to the topic concerning the holidays. I'm not so sure that is necessarily jealousy. But although the Bible, when you look at jealousy in the scriptures and you look at the definition, we see how Joseph's brethren, they were jealous. And even Isaac, the Philistines, the Bible says Isaac, the definition of jealous scriptures, it calls out, it mentions jealousy and or envy. But in the English, jealousy and envy is not exactly the same thing. They're related. They're definitely related, but they're not the same. Jealousy again is the fear thing. One that you think belongs to you to someone else. However, envy is the pain or frustration caused by another person having something that you do not have yourself. Okay. So I think that's
a good difference
in tune with what siblings go through,
okay,
and what family members go through, and what saints go through, and what I think when we envy, we look at someone's perceived success and we desire it, we want it. It's something that we feel like we don't have ourselves, and the pain that you feel not having what you see somebody else have, that's envy. It says, I want the same thing that you have and I don't have it. But malicious envy says, I want precisely what you have and I want you not to have it.
Ooh. Oh,
So
that sounds like the devil in heaven,
it really does.
or Lucifer. That
And
was his
so,
name
you
in
know,
heaven.
when you look at someone and you desire what they have, and you have an inordinate desire to achieve.
That
And
was his
so,
name
you
in
know,
heaven.
when you look at someone and you desire what they have, and you have an inordinate desire to achieve what they've achieved, envy steps in. So how do you, if you are the victim, and so say there's someone who envies you, and you're being victimized by someone's envy, how do you respond to that? Like me and you, we're at the dinner table, and I'm envying you to the degree that you can't even talk about your success, what I'm going to feel or how I'm going to respond as your brother. How do you experiencing, because you're concerned with what I'm going to feel or how I'm going to respond as your brother. How do you deal with that?
This is interesting. And we're throwing this question out as well. I'm getting as best I can. And then there was another question that was related to it that I'm going to ask. But again, 708-223-8953. If you guys are going to call in, if you're going to go on the Facebook Live feed, go ahead and put your comments in or questions. Because this is a conversation, you know, A&D conversation, but we want you to see your way in. So we want you to help with this, because there's so many people that are going to be dealing with this, you know, the holidays came up so fast. And yeah, deal with situations like that. You know, I was thinking, as a matter of fact, on Sunday, I believe it was. I was thinking about how people, it seems as if the way they handle you, it leaves much to be desired. The way we handle each other, should I say. And we really have to be careful, especially, and I'll go, okay, we're talking about holidays. You know, sometimes you may be around blood relatives, or, you know, we call each other in the body of Christ, brother and sister, you know, whatever. So that's another relationship too,
Absolutely.
you know, that we can look, you know, with this topic as well. But, you know, sometimes in the body of Christ, we don't treat each other right.
My God.
And so then if we're not treating you right, of course I'm not going to listen to you and your success. I experienced a situation where, and I'm trying to say this really, really carefully here. I experienced a situation where I witnessed someone they were really going forth, you know, in the Lord or whatever. They were doing, you know, their thing, whether it was singing or preaching. I'm not going to narrow it down. And then after they got through with that, I mentioned to them about doing something else. And they're like, no, you know, and I kind of laughed it off or whatever. And then somebody else asked them to do the same thing. And then they went ahead and did it. And you know what they did? They turned around to me and said, I did it because of them, not because of you.
What?
And I'm looking like, and we in church. And I'm looking like, really? But you just got through
praising.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not understanding that. And then I related it talking about my success with them, some things that had, you know, transpired. Was talking about my success with them right before that. And it seemed like their whole attitude toward me had changed. And I'm like, where is this coming from? So why? Was that envy? I don't know.
It's envy, and it's envy and insecurity.
I guess.
Envy and insecurity. There's a line from a movie, Envy and Insecurity. There's a line from a movie called Fountainhead that came out in the 1940s, I think. And it says, a man abler than his brothers insults them by implication.
Okay.
Did you?
Okay.
A man abler than his brothers insults them by implication.
Okay.
And so I've referred to that quote several times while ministering. And it's an eye-opening quote, because there are certain people who are offended at your ability. Your ability alone is offensive to some people.
Okay.
And the fact that you have it and they may not have it like that
Okay.
offends them. And
But
it's-
we need to get, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. We got to get
we
beyond
got to
that.
get past that.
This
We
is
do.
there's so many things are happening all around us. Again, look at the situation on yesterday.
Exactly.
Why are we
People
sitting
are
up here
dying.
petting each other
Yeah.
up and you didn't say hi to me or whatever, and then I'm looking at you because you driving in your new car and I'm envious of what your success.
Get over it.
We're
Get over it.
grown-ups.
Get
We're
over
adults.
yourself.
Stop it.
You know, and it's crazy because there's always going to be somebody that can do it better. I don't care how good you are.
Yes.
I don't care how. There's always going to be somebody more polished, more seasoned that can do it better. And so you really have to just be confident in self, you know, and know who God is making you as an original, authentic vessel yourself. And even as it relates to siblings, you know, you might look at that one sibling and they seem, you know, to wonder why I'm not measuring up to your life.
Yes.
And if I constantly up next to your success, I'm always going to come out the loser.
Always
going to come out the loser,
because you're never going to be what they think. You're always going to be probably.
Well,
I'm never
going to be what you are.
True.
You know, whatever your level of success is directly related and connected to Annette.
Okay.
And so if I'm trying to reproduce Annette in Dion's life, I'll never
that's not
measure
gonna
up.
work. That's not going to work.
So it's really unfortunate. But I think the key to overcoming something like that is just at its core, knowing who you are and who God is making you and the direction your life is going in, and your agenda, your dreams, your goals, and focusing on that. Because if you're looking at somebody else's accomplishments and measuring yourself up against it, you always going to come out the loser.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we better hop over here to Facebook Live because we asked them to make comments and they are chiming in. So let's see if we can try and read some of these. We can kind of go back and forth. Brand. Okay, I read that one from Brandy. Let's see. Phelan. Am I pronouncing it? Phelan. Okay.
Phelan.
All right. They said you have cataracts and that old green-eyed demon.
He messing with me because I broke out and started singing that Sunday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Buddy Gill says, all my life I've heard these sayings: stay in your lane, sweep around your own front door.
Yeah.
You have 6 months to mind your own business and 6 months to leave the other folks' business alone.
Wow.
And don't get caught with idle time. He says here, I am so busy and so tired from being busy. I don't have time to be jealous or worry about who is jealous of me. Personally, at this age, I think it's silly. That's just me. I can, if I can give you 5-star or 5 thumbs up, I would do that, buddy. I totally agree with you. And I think the older I get, Apostle, that's what my mind is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get in these cat fights and trying to vie for attention and this, that, and the other. If you got a problem with me, you just have a problem with me. Talk to Jesus.
So you won't be that person then who would, if someone is around you and they're envious and or jealous of you, then you would now water yourself down because of that.
To be the older I get, no.
See.
Now, of course, back in my younger days,
that was me.
Now, my honey always tells me you got to stop worrying about people and what they think of you. If there's anything else he's ever told me in this life, that's what he always would tell me. And he's so right.
Yeah.
I got to stop worrying about what they think of me. Just go and do you.
Absolutely.
And if the Lord has given me something to do it. Don't worry about, you know, people's comments and whatever they're going to say. And maybe they'll comment on somebody else that did the exact same thing that you did or pump them up or something. Oh, I've experienced all of that.
Oh,
and I'm sure we all have.
Yeah.
You know, but you have to know what it is you're supposed to do and do it and keep it moving.
And always bring your A game.
There you go.
Always bring your A game.
I like that. Yes.
You know, don't water yourself down. You know, Joseph, around his brethren, they envied him because he had a coat.
Come on now.
A coat of
many colors.
And every time he wore that coat, he wasn't supposed to have a coat to begin with. Because
Right.
the coat was the birthright was that it went to the firstborn.
There you go.
And so Joseph, being the 11th son, Jacob skipped over 10 sons to give him this coat. And it was not just a plain coat, it was a coat of many colors. It was flashy.
Yes.
And every time he wore it, it sparked envious feelings and jealousy and confrontation. And so you think about that as your coat being your gift.
Come on now.
Every time you wear your gift, every time you operate in your gift and you flow in your gift, people start feeling funny to the point to where you start not wanting to put your coat on.
Ooh,
you know,
see, talking to me now.
You don't want to.
That's how I was.
You don't want to wear your coat because you think you're already thinking about how people are going to respond to it. You know, or you'll wear it, but you'll find ways to kind of tone it down. And I don't want to do this, and I don't want to do that because
if I turn it inside out, all the colors won't show.
All the colors won't show. You know, maybe I'll put something over the coat. Because,
right.
But we do this. And you said it, and that was me. The older I get, the more I don't care about that.
Yes.
Because really, it's the other people that need deliverance. And so, by me saying the other people need deliverance, always keep in mind, you always have to have a level head about your gift. You always have to operate in humility and be humble and all of that. But as it relates to functioning in it and being all that God called you to be, there's always going to be somebody that's going to say something.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
And you cannot water that.
I don't care if you walk sideways. Your intimidation stems from insecurity.
Yes.
That doesn't mean we don't feel jealousy, but we need to know how to handle it. I agree. Pastor CC says people who are jealous are tormented. Ooh,
yes.
That's deep.
Yes.
She says it is not healthy to base your worth on the actions of someone else. I give you
it's not
many thumbs up on that. Oh my gosh. Yes. Brandy says that's it. Wait, let me scroll back down. You can fight their action of being around someone else, but that doesn't negate their desire to be around that person. Okay.
That's what the romantic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just not reading these comments, guys, so please forgive me. All right. Pastor CC says good teaching. Envy is an indication of carnality. Yes. Oh, she pumping somebody up on this. I'm just kidding. Okay. Philan says here, someone's envy in that scenario will cause a person to feel like they want you to dim your light.
Exactly.
Wow. In order for them to feel comfortable around you. Oh my goodness, so true. Buddy says here, Pastor Hunt is breaking it all down clearly. I think to harbor envy emotions signifies lack of happiness or lack of content. Philippians 4:12 has been a great help to him. Okay.
It's obviously something that you're not happy with.
Yeah.
In yourself, because really envy points back to self.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Okay. There's another comment here. The only way to soothe someone who is envious of you, of who you are, is to downplay and dim who you are. Oh. At a family gathering, it might be necessary just to keep a peaceful atmosphere, but outside of that, never. What do you say to that? Should you dim it down if you're saying if you are
for the sake of peace? You know what? For Thanksgiving, Christmas, stuff like that. I'm real, and so-called y'all know me, and I say this all the time. Be the bigger person. Sometimes being the bigger person means letting someone win, whatever win means. Okay. Whatever that win is.
But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't still be yourself.
Oh, you got to be yourself, and not pacify them.
Okay.
But if I could if I have 5 success stories, maybe I'll just tell 2 of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I see what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
gonna rub it in.
Right. But
you
you
know, and
because somebody may need to hear those success
Right.
stories.
right.
I mean, if you're not telling them because you don't want somebody else to look at you side-eyed and
Right.
then are you doing right at that point?
And that's just using wisdom, like for family functions, because everybody sometimes at church folk and saints, we want to get everybody no, you're gonna get delivered. I'm not gonna or the turkey to go down correctly,
And I also think too, I agree. I can see that, but I also think the way we present it as
Mhm.
well, it has a lot to do with it. You're not gonna walk up in the house, hey, watch me, guys, whatever. Let me
glide in. Don't even walk in, glide
right,
in.
glide in. You slide in like you on the Jetsons or something, but it is the way you present it as well. I believe that has a whole lot to do with
Absolutely.
it because, even, like you said, maybe not tell all 5, tell 2, but still in the way you tell those 2,
Mhm.
Success stories or what have you. There's still a way. There's still a way to do it where you wouldn't antagonize someone
Mhm.
else or make
them feel
them upchuck or did I say that?
We know what you meant. We know but you know what? I think also if you see, I'm also that individual who I celebrate other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a problem with celebrating other people's success. So when I tell my own success story, it's in the context of other people's success stories also that I'm telling.
Okay.
So if I'm celebrating you, then I ought to be able to celebrate me too.
Right.
I ought to be able to tell my story or say how I won if I just or say how I won if I just shouted you from the mountaintops for winning.
Right.
And so I think that if you're one of those people that know how to celebrate others and push others and encourage others and clap for others and cheer for others, then it's okay to say something nice about yourself as well. And if you have a history of saying that and a pattern of saying that and the people around you know that, then it's okay to toot your own horn a little bit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, let's see. More comments here on Facebook. Buddy says, if I see someone who is successful at something that I want, I will go to that person and congratulate them.
Yes.
Then open my mouth and ask questions. A closed mouth will never be fed. I like that. See, he's taking that and turning it around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and he is kind of diffusing the situation
Right.
as well. I like that because you learn and then they're like, oh, were you asking me about this? So let me sit down and,
Mm-hmm.
that'll probably prompt them to tell you about, what they accomplished and how they accomplished it. I know some people, they just love to just sit and just tell you.
Yeah.
That is still their way of bragging, but
Yeah.
still, you can still learn from it.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. All right. Joe told me to be you in that. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. He also says here, there's a fine line between celebrating your success and being pretentious.
Absolutely.
Successful and confident people don't need to say it. They just are. I love
ahead,
that,
Joe.
Joe McCord. Yes. Wonderful.
But what if you at the table and mama is saying, go ahead, baby. Go ahead.
Tell it.
Tell everybody what you did.
Well, tell it.
Okay.
Tell it.
Because mama said so.
Because mama said so.
Okay, I got it.
Because, again, I still go back to that. You never know who's going to need that.
Yeah.
Somebody at that table, even the person that's probably despising your sayings will probably need it.
Yeah.
They may not want to own up to it or may not even know it at that moment that they will need that. I mean, because if God has blessed you, in certain areas or to do certain things or to accomplish certain things, it's not for you. It's for his glory.
Absolutely. See, absolutely.
So we have to think like that. I'm talking to myself too. Lord have mercy. But yes, we have to think like that. It's not because it's not about you anyway. It is for his glory. I'm living my life for his glory. I'm doing what I do for his glory. And if he allowed me to achieve certain things, it's for his glory.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I mean, you be a witness, you know, to someone, you know, about what you did. They may be on the verge of trying to get where you are.
Absolutely. You preaching now.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go now. All right.
But you know what though? It because that makes me think about ministry. And it's that's another thing that's very grievous is when you see jealousy and envy in the body of Christ. You see ministry gifts compete against one another. You see leaders and preachers jealous of one another and envious of one another. You may see certain preachers who they will never bring outside ministry gifts into their pulpit because they don't want to turn, they don't want their people, they're really God's people.
Right.
They don't want their congregation to be turned on to another ministry gift. And it goes against the principle of us working together. You know, if I bring a ministry gift in, it's because I want him to do something that I'm not proficient in. You know what I mean? If I bring another ministry gift in, I don't want him to flow the same way that I flow. I want him to do what he does to the best of his ability because I want my people, I want God's people, and as Saul called, to be exposed to their ministry gift and what God has given them and their authentic ministry. And so it's really unfortunate that even in the body of Christ, people compete and compare themselves. And they measure themselves up against other ministry gifts,
Right.
and that's the cause for a lot of offense and ministry breakdown as well. You know, it's really unfortunate. God is so infinite. God is so original that He can make each one of us original and authentic.
Yes, he can.
You know, and so
And he has.
He has.
We're different.
And so I don't have to do it like you. You don't have to sound like me. And we authenticity.
Definitely.
You know.
Keep that in mind, people. Please keep that in mind. I'm gonna read a few more comments here on this topic. This is good stuff here. Now, okay. What should I do? All right. There was a question. I'm gonna skip there. And then we'll come back to the Facebook Live comments. There was a question on yesterday's post talking about today's topic. Sharonda Robinson, she had a question, and we may have kind of touched on this a little bit. She said she's has always been fascinated by those who say others are jealous of them. How does one identify that someone is jealous?
You know what? I'm fascinated too by that. Who said that?
Sharonda Robinson.
Miss Robinson, I'm fascinated by that too, by people who always say that. You know, it really is that the problem, that somebody is always jealous of you? To me, that person who perceives that to be the knee-jerk response or cause to conflict in their life is that people are jealous. That person is a bit self-centered.
Right. To think, yeah.
To
think
think
back
that
to the selfishness.
Right. To think that it's all everybody else's response is all about how wonderful you are. You know what I mean? And so I think that that's something that should not be your first response or reaction to conflict. Oh, they must be jealous. I remember going through some things where it took me years. It took me years to believe that somebody may have been jealous or envious of me. And people were telling me, people close to me were telling me
that they were jealous of you.
Yep. And I would not believe it.
Okay.
I refused to believe it because of who they were to me. And I didn't want to damage that relationship in my mind.
Okay.
And so when it was said to me, even though the signs were there, I would brush it off. And I would, no, that's, you know, but it took years and years of behavior and me maturing. and me having to come to the realization that, okay, this is what it has been all this time. And for me, that's a hurting feeling for me. Knowing or feeling that somebody close to you may be jealous or envious of you and not sincerely celebrate you or not sincerely be want to be connected to you and push you and encourage you. To me, that hurts. I don't I don't poke my chest out at that. You know, some people, oh, they just jealous and they wear that as a badge of honor. To me, that hurts.
Yeah,
You know,
I can understand how you're feeling. So what in that just take the situation you just gave us. People were telling you at first, but you saw the signs, you just didn't want to own up to
I
it
didn't want to own
basically.
up to it.
So does it now would you have come to that conclusion on your own though that they were jealous before others
Be in denial.
in denial?
Hmm.
So to her question, how does one identify that someone is jealous? Do we just like really get prompted by other people, and then we put everything together, A through D, and
Right. I
yeah, it
think
must be what they
yeah,
said.
it's got to be different layers of it. You know what I mean? It's
Okay.
got to be, you have to look at their behavior pattern. You know what I mean? Or, you know, you have some people who they don't come see about you when you're up. They may come see about you when you're down.
Misery love company.
You know, and they'll come and see about you and check on you and say, "Oh, I love you. I'm here for you." But when you succeed, and that you don't get that same pat on the back. And so if it's people who cannot celebrate you, who cannot root and clap for you and push you and encourage you, that's a red flag right there.
Right. It's
You
almost
know,
indicative of them probably being jealous. So, can you read the definition of jealousy again when you get a chance? Because that could help answer her question as well.
yes,
How does one identify that someone is jealous?
jealous jealousy is the fear of losing something to another person, um, while envy is the pain or frustration caused by another person having something that you do not have yourself. And I want to read something else. It says, at the core of envy seems to be an upward social comparison that threatens a person's self esteem. A comparison is often rooted in the envier feeling low self confidence, and they feel that they need to be or have the same thing as others to feel secure.
Okay.
And so that's envy. That's envy. Another thing else I want to throw in there, envy and furthermore jealousy are controlled and created by the medulla oblongata, which is the sector of the brain that controls aggressive behavior. So people who are jealous and or envy show aggression.
Okay.
And that substantiates even the scripture when it says jealousy is the rage of a man. It it connects it with rage and conflict and aggressive behavior. And so I said this a little bit ago to some people that people who are envious are offended by someone else's success. And usually, if you're offended, it shows up in your conversation. It shows up in your speech.
Yes.
It shows up in what you say, because offended people talk about their offense or the object of their offense.
Right.
And if you are, you know, um, if you are the topic or the subject of other people's conversation and it gets back to you, you see, that's another form of a red light going off saying, okay, what's really going on here? You know, I remember some things happening where some words got back to me about what this person had said. And I didn't even want to believe that,
Okay.
you see. So for me, it took multiple layers and multiple things happening for me to say, maybe this is true. And years had passed. Maybe this thing is true. But then when I finally came to that conclusion, it hurt.
I'm sure.
You see, because
Because
now,
that's not something you think about. You, especially if they're, whether they're blood related to you, or like I
yeah,
said, in the church or whatever, or you have that close relationship with somebody, you don't want to automatically
you
think
don't.
that they're thinking ill of you, that they
Yeah,
are envious and jealous of
yeah,
you,
yeah.
whether or not they want what you have or what have you. You don't want to think
Because
that.
I'm
And
gonna
it
say
does
this,
hurt.
I ain't that wonderful. You know what I mean? No, seriously, I'm not. I'm not that wonderful. And whatever I got, whatever I have, I fight for.
Well, obviously that's not their mentality. They
Right.
think you're wonderful. They think you all of that in a bag of chips, and they want your chips.
But they don't see what I had to go through to get them chips.
Exactly.
You know what I
And,
mean?
and see, that's the thing. And I've seen, across social media, whatever, don't always, try to get what someone else has, because you don't know how they got to that point. You don't know what they had to go through to get that.
Mhm.
They could have went through hell and high water.
Absolutely.
9 times out of 10, they do go through hell and high water to get some places, but you can't just automatically, and that's why we don't need to covet each other's stuff and all that. Okay, I'm not getting ready to preach. Buddy Gill says here, we have to be careful looking at what others have. Be careful trying to keep up with the Joneses. You don't know how they okay. You don't know how they got what they have and how they working or struggling to keep it. We just said that. Stop judging the books by their covers. Oftentimes it's just a screensaver. Whoa. That's deep. Michelle says here, there's a difference in speaking on something you're excited about, success in parentheses, and bragging. Braggers are annoying. True.
That is true.
That is very true. Buddy, I'm sorry. Joel says here, sometimes it's how you say it as well. Oh, okay. You mentioned what I said earlier. D'Amica says, yes, he is. He's gifted each of us. He's made us different. Yes, that's very true. Pastor Cecilia says, it is also important for us to be sure so that insecure people who try to berate people so they can feel better about themselves are not able to cause us to. Okay. Did I read that too fast? I think I did. It is also important for us to be sure enough so that insecure people who try to berate people so they can feel better about themselves are not able to cause us to. I think maybe she probably left off something there. Okay, here we go. I see your next comment. It is important that we don't allow insecure people who try to berate or belittle us with the intent to make themselves feel better are not able to dampen our press towards success and negatively affect us. Okay. Thank you, Pastor C. I'm like, I think she left something off there. All right. Tradana, I see you on. Thanks for watching. Demetri Brand Triplet. Thanks for watching with us on today. Joe, he said they want your chips. He's talking about what I said. Yeah, so it is a thin line. I'm glad you gave those definitions of jealousy and envy so that we would understand and know. So it is appropriate for us to try and handle ourselves in the correct way, even when we are, amongst the people that we know for sure, are envious and or jealous of us. So I don't know. You want to wrap that up? And
I would say, always be, class is never overrated. Be classy, be diplomatic. If you have to defer, if you know who you are, you don't have to brag. If you know who you are, you don't have to compete. And like I said earlier, sometimes, you can graciously just allow somebody else to win if it'll keep the peace at the dinner table or at the, whatever holiday event that is. But as it relates to who God is making you and who you are as a ministry gift, you do that as unto God, not for man anyway.
Right.
And so if I'm giving God everything I have and everything that he's gifted me with to begin with, then how you process that, that's between you and God.
So you telling me don't go and throw my Tesla key down on the table?
I might pick it up if you throw it,
Like, oh, I'm here. How y'all doing? I'm just kidding. I'm really kidding. I just threw a little humor.
But even that, you can't even testify now. You can't testify of God's goodness. And you have people biting their tongues, not wanting to testify. God just blessed you with a new home or a new car. and you're afraid to say it because of the backlash.
But you better tell it,
You know what I
because
mean?
Just how you got it, you could lose
You
it.
can lose it.
I'll never forget my aunt, and she's told this a number of times, when she had her second child years ago, because he's grown and got his own family now, married and got his own family. But when he was born, he was premature.
Wow.
Okay. And my uncle was very, very protective of him.
Mhm.
And so he wouldn't let anybody hold that child. My uncle, well, he was always holding the baby, wouldn't let anybody hold it. And then my pastor, which is my other uncle, came and told him and said, you know what? You need to be careful of that, because just as God blessed him to get here, he could take him
Wow.
away.
Wow.
And so after that, of course, you hold the baby, you hold the baby,
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
with caution and everything, because he's premature. But still, you have to, I just took that as, you just really have to, you really have to be careful.
Yeah. Yeah.
You really do. Just don't, tell your testimony, let the folks know. Again, you never know who you're helping. You never know who you're encouraging. So yeah, this is good stuff. Okay, so Brandy, do you have we want to laugh right
A viral
now.
video.
You have a viral video for us, a funny, that you can put in the live feed? We'll try our best to describe what we're looking at, and you guys can click on the link too when she puts it in there. So if you can get that ready for us. While she's doing that, I don't know, did you have any organizations that you wanted to highlight today?
You know what?
You better have one for me today.
I got one today. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much. Brandy, while we're waiting on you, we're going to give our foundation that we're supporting on today.
Actually, I don't know if it's a foundation, but it's something that just popped up on social media over the last couple of months. And I'm gonna shout them out. They don't even know I'm shouting them out. It's Cool Girls Cook.
Cool Girls Cook. Oh, okay.
Yes, cool.
They're on Facebook.
They're on Facebook, and you can go to their Facebook page and like it. Food and beverage company, and in the about, when you go to read what it's about, it says every girl must eat, but not every girl can cook. Learn to prepare the most basic to the most complex dishes from T. Marie and Friends. And T. Marie, that's Teresa Marie Allison, along with the Allison clan, Pastor Rhonda Allison, Eugenia Allison.
And this is theirs?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Walona Allison, all the Allison sisters and all the Allison women. They're on, I can't remember what days exactly. I think they were on Sunday.
Okay.
And there's another day that they may be on Facebook Live, and they're basically going through and showing people how to prepare certain dishes leading up to Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And when I say that food looks slap happy good, they out here saving folks Thanksgivings,
They saving, huh?
They saving, but not only that, they're offering Thanksgiving wisdom on how to shop, what spices to use.
Okay.
All those
that
intangibles.
Works. That works.
And so,
Cool and what's the name of it again?
Cool Girls Cook.
Okay. Cool Girls Cook.
If you just go there and like and follow, and you'll get a notification when they're on.
Okay.
And they didn't even going to shout them out, but they're doing such a phenomenal job.
That's awesome stuff right there. Yeah, I love it. I love it.
And when I say these sisters can cook,
can they cook?
Oh, they can throw that. I've tasted some of their food, and they can throw down.
Okay. Well, wonderful. We'll
now, sure I got people in my family that can
cook. Okay.
Yeah, but they can cook. They can throw down.
They put it in here already. Cool Girls Cook. Thank you so much for posting that. Okay, we have our funny video. We're gonna look at this, and then we're gonna try and get out of here tonight. Let's see. Apostle, you ready?
I'm ready.
I hope this comes up. Let's see what she has for tonight.
So when your mom catches you sleeping during church, but she's not close enough to pinch you. Okay, there's a man nodding off at an event. And number 45 is looking at him. He's shooting fire out of his eyes.
Right. That
Because this
must
man
be,
is falling asleep at his event.
must be something with a President Trump and
Right.
Melania is there, and there's a guy sitting next to him, and he's falling asleep.
Well, I don't know what event is that though.
I don't know.
They're all in black. It looks like.
Yeah, but
I hope it's not a
it couldn't have
funeral.
been a funeral because he doesn't go. Well, let me stop.
Whoa.
But yeah, he's glaring at the man like really. I hope you guys can click on it. You can see it for yourself.
He is looking at him with a scowl on his face, and it's funny.
And the way they zoomed into him.
This dude, and you know what? Your mom will be looking at you like that
Yeah, she
when you're
does.
nodding off in church.
Oh, but I don't know if there was ever a time that my mom was not close enough to pinch me though.
See, my mother would pinch us, and
She'll
she
reach
would
around there.
pinch your whole leg off. You would be looking around thinking your leg is detached from
Well, you
your
know
body.
what? I take that back. I didn't get pinched in church because I knew how to act. I did.
I must didn't know how to act
Yo,
because my mama used to pinch my whole side off.
and then you were done, huh?
Mhm.
You were done for the night. Wow, that is too funny. Thanks for that vid. Brandon, we appreciate that. You know, it reminded me when I graduated from 8th grade. And I
Mhm.
have to tell the story before we end. And we were leaving the graduation. And I was just crying and stuff because I wasn't gonna see my friends anymore. I was going to a different school. Da 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 da. Well, my friends wanted to go out somewhere,
Mhm.
and I wanted to go with them. I'm in the car with my family, and I'm like, "Mom, I want to go out." And I had my mouth poked out, and she's driving, and I'm like, "Oh," and I'm making a big old fuss in the back seat.
Wow.
My mother used to wear rings just about on each finger. Okay, so she's driving, and I'm like, and she went, "What up?" Hit me
Backhand.
and kept driving. She
Backhand.
backhand, and my
Wow.
lips swole up so big.
You know what? I'm sorry. I'm
I
laughing.
didn't complain anymore. I was like, okay, where are we
Wow.
going, family? Sure did.
You
She
got
would get you.
backhand in that?
I got that one time. I
I
didn't
don't
mess with
think-
her no more.
I don't think I ever got backhand,
Uh-huh.
but my whoopings were legendary. They were the stuff of legend.
Is that right?
People still talking about them.
Is that right?
Oh, I didn't get a lot of whoopings.
Well, you bad, Apostle.
I would know. You know what? I probably got the least
You
out of my siblings.
you were just showing us that you were a
but
real male species.
the whoopings that I got though, enough to say, okay, I don't want to experience that again.
Yes.
You know, and
My
my
mama
parents
didn't
didn't.
play.
They didn't abuse me. They
Right.
didn't, I needed them.
Right.
I needed them.
Sometimes they probably nowadays. Well, never mind. All right, here we go.
That's a whole
All right,
nother
that's a
show.
whole nother story. All right, let's see here. Somebody says not Pastor Christine. Oh, I believe
Yes, Pastor
so.
Christine.
And Brandy says that her mom will cross pews to pinch her.
Wow.
Now that I can believe.
I
I
can
can
believe
believe
that too.
that. Yes.
In them high heels, walking in them high heels.
In them high heels. But you know what? I say now we're the better for it.
Yes.
I really believe that discipline and that you don't cross mama. We're the better for it.
We are.
And I don't. I didn't play with her, and she's gone now, and I still respect her.
You know.
I do. Yes, Thanksgiving is coming up, and we're excited about that. So you guys make sure you think about what. Of course, pray for families that have lost loved ones. Sometimes people go through that SAD around the holidays.
Mhm.
But pray for others, reach out to others, check on people.
Yes.
We are grateful that we are still here. So
absolutely.
we announcement about
and
Thursday.
drive safe.
Yes, drive safely. Please do. Announcement about Thursday.
Thursday, we will not be on the air. We want you to enjoy the holiday, enjoy your Thanksgiving meal.
Yes.
I'm going to enjoy mine, and we will be back the following Tuesday.
The following Tuesday. All right, guys. So thank you so much for joining us on tonight and your comments and helping us out on tonight. So until next time, you have been listening to Mind, Body, and Soul,
An
A&D conversation.